You've spoken there about the recklessness of consumers, but what about the recklessness of lenders? I mean, we had that case with Wonga Loans and some of the other banks who've come under scrutiny for being lax about who they give loans to and the generosity, I suppose you could say, of the loans given. So there's recklessness on the part of consumers, as you say, but that's not the only camp where there's recklessness.
Yes, definitely. A lot of credit providers are reckless in this sense, and a lot more were reckless. But after the implementation of the National Credit Act, credit providers, and especially the banks, became vigilant when it came to giving out secured loans. That is your home loans and your vehicle finance. But a lot of credit providers still gave out unsecured loans very easily to consumers. So your unsecured loans are things like credit cards and personal loans and store cards and these things. So it's smaller amounts generally, and one might argue that credit providers started doing that because they have to make up for the money that they're losing from not giving out home loans and vehicle finance. So we also saw a huge increase in the number of unsecured loans granted to consumers. So yes, consumers must, that's why it's very important for consumers to be educated and also to know that they should only take on credit if they really can afford it, because that's actually what credit providers are supposed to do. And a lot of credit providers obviously do that because they're bound by the Act to do that and obliged by the National Credit Act to do that. But unfortunately, you also get credit providers, and they are known as the loan sharks, for instance, who don't really comply with the National Credit Act and the rules of the National Credit Regulator, and they give out loans, at exorbitant interest rates, and sometimes people are so desperate that they fall for this.
And I suppose at a time like now, we're looking at increased petrol prices, cost of food's gone up, and we expect more increases on that front as the year proceeds, and a weak rand. So people are feeling the pinch and may already have loans and debt. What can we do? What can we do if we're really stuck and now we're under more pressure because the price of petrol's gone up?
Well, the most important thing is to always draw up a budget and stick to that budget, and distinguish between things that you really need and things that you just want, like luxuries. But then the important thing is that when people do find themselves in a situation where they are over indebted, they cannot afford to pay all their monthly installments, then they must approach a debt counsellor as soon as possible, because debt counselling is there to help consumers, and that's in terms of the National Credit Act. So you have the power of the Act and legislation to help you in this regard, and we've seen huge success rates with debt counselling, especially during the last couple of years, where the relationships between debt counsellors and credit providers have improved a lot, and there are thousands and thousands of people enjoying the benefits of debt counselling, and but there's also a lot of people who don't know about the process, and it's very important for people to know about the help that is out there.
So is it a matter of writing in Google debt counsellor South Africa or Pretoria or wherever you may stay, or how do you even begin?
Yes, people can obviously Google debt counselling and they will get to a reputable debt counsellor, but it's also good just to ask around. You can even ask your credit providers the name of a good and a reputable debt counsellor, because unfortunately, like every profession, not all the debt counsellors have the same success rates. So it's very important to make sure that you get a reputable debt counsellor to assist you.